Hello there and welcome. This is Mikhail or Michael speaking. As always, thank you all who decided to support me financially on Patreon. Now we will start with Bakhmut first. So here's the street of Вызволители Donbass. It's a very long street. As you can see, for the control over the streets, Russians were battling out for some time now, and as you can see, at some places they were able to gain full control of it. In some places they had only reached one side of it. Not only this street would help Russians in their effort to capture post office and Olympic school, it is also adjacent to this sector right here. So the control over the street is very important. So as the latest report suggests, attacking from Вызволители в Donbass Street, Russians were able to gain more control here within this sector and capture this small portion of territory along Tulbukhina Street. They were also able to enter this sector and initiate fight within the Olympic school itself, so capturing about this much territory. If we zoom in a little bit, we can see that in the last 12 hours, Russians were able to capture these 3 high-rise buildings. As you can see, they overlook Ukrainian positions and these 2 high-rise buildings here. With that in mind, the latest report coming in that Russians had captured post office, so they neither are controlling about this much territory, or perhaps they are controlling this entire sector right here. So once again, there is a possibility that as we speak, Russians have captured and cleared this territory from the Ukrainian forces. This is still under a question mark because the whole situation in Bakhmut is difficult. If, for example, Russians attack and capture this territory, in a few hours Ukrainians counterattack and drive them back. After a few hours, Russians attack again and capture this territory once again, and Ukrainians are committing another counterattack. Heavy clashes are guaranteed to happen here around Olympic School, as a lot of sources are saying that Russians are continuously storming those positions. So as you can see, Russians are attacking from 2 directions, from the front and from the flank. Ukrainian sources are stating that Russians had intensified their attacks towards Khromove, and in the attempt of gaining more control over 00506 highway. Nothing came out of that as of right now. But once again, Russians are attacking here. Perhaps at some point they were able to link up with their troops here and join the front line. Then we go to so-called Citadel area. First of all, there is a video of Russians using FOB 500 bomb within this area right here. First, I will show you the video and give explanation why I think it's this area right here. So what can we take away from this shot, for example? First of all, this is obviously a high-raised building sector, and here is one big long road, and here is the other big long road, and there's one more that is going on here. There is open space here, and there's open space here. We can see a building with a red rooftop, and some of the buildings that are following in this order. Also, we see 2 buildings forming this kind of figure. Of all places, it looks like it's located here. We can see a long street here, another long street here, as well as here is another street. We can see a slightly open area here and here. This is the buildings that are forming this shape, and right here as well. Now, unfortunately, the video doesn't show the initial explosion, so it's hard to say which building exactly was destroyed. But again, it is somewhere within this area right here. Here's another indication of that. We can see this building right here, and it would seem that this is it right here. So probably this is happening here within this sector. So the overall situation here in this sector is such. It would seem that Russians are avoiding storming this sector as of right now, and they are mostly relying on heavy artillery bombardments to destroy Ukrainian forces within this sector. There is some videos of a aftermath of those actions. As you can see, slowly but surely Russians are turning this entire sector into dust. Then of course we have Somalia district. There is no changes here, however heavy fighting still continues as Russians trying to reach Tchaikovskого Street here. Russians also conducted limited military operations towards Ivanivsky without any success. Now we are done with Bakhmut and we will go to Kupiansk front. Here changes had happened. First of all is a result of a Ukrainian attack. They were able to take some land from Russians here to the southeast of Liman Pershi. It's a rough estimate how much territory was lost by the Russians, but it will give you a general idea. As you can see, there is a village of Vilshana, and Ukrainians were not able to storm it as of right now. There are also reports coming in that Russians were able to counter-attack Ukrainians here within this sector and throw back Ukrainians, but that is still to be confirmed. Then from here we go to the Vuhledar front. Here situation is unstable as both Russians and Ukrainians are conducting counter-attack operations. Ukrainians are still trying to expand their initial success here within this area and attack towards Pavlivka and Mikelsky. However, those attacks are unsuccessful as of right now. There is a video I want to show you of a Ukrainian trench lines hit by what looks like TOC-1 or Solntsepek. So not only Russians had intensified their artillery strikes in Vuhledar itself, but they are also started shelling Ukrainian positions with Solntsepek, partially because of the fact that Ukrainians had decided to activize here and start to attack. So Russians are doing everything they can to stop Ukrainian forces here, and as of right now it seems to be working. So this is the end of the video. If you want to financially support me, please consider joining my Patreon. As always, humanity calls me to condemn all violence against human beings. Have a good day, and always remember, Russia will be free.